January. All right, so today we are looking at update to the portal that should be launching at 4 p.m.-ish. So right after this webinar is over, that's the goal. So we had our welcome and introductions. I'll be sharing some reminders from that webinar that we did on October 1st. And then we'll look at APH products, loan library, and braillers, including brailler repairs. Those are the three things that are being added into the portal. And we will finish by 4 p.m. Okay, so let's look at some reminders just in case you haven't been in the system yet, or you went in on October 1st and you haven't been in at all since then. So like I said, this is where you register students and order textbooks right now, and hopefully by tomorrow morning you'll be going in and you can use it for APH, braillers, and loan library. Any other forms that are unrelated to those things will stay on our website. So the forms for those things that we have been using, they are still linked on our site, but the forms have been closed. So you're not submitting any requests for APH, loan library, and braillers using the forms on our website. So as a reminder for accessing the FIMC-VI portal, when we switched from our old system, we took the people that were active in that system and migrated them into the new one. If you were maybe one of those people and you haven't signed in yet, just a reminder that your account is your work email address. And when you sign in the first time, you have to use the forgot password link to reset your password. You get an email with a link and take care of that. If you try to reset your password and it tells you no account found, go ahead and register, okay? So anyone who is new to this system or was not brought over because they were inactive in the old system, you're going to register for an account in the portal. When you're going through, you're selecting the role and the job title that best applies to you. And most everyone who's on here is probably a service provider at an agency, a TBI or O&M instructor in a district. One of these roles where you are the one ordering things for students, you are an individual who has to be approved by your administrator or their delegate in order to gain access to the portal and to submit these requests. And this is because there's student identifiable information in the system, and we want to make sure that only approved users are able to see that information. One key thing in this portal, the previous system let you manage multiple accounts. So if you work for multiple districts, you could have just one email address. Because this system is using your email as your account, you can only use each email one time. So one email for one organization. So we already have folks where they have multiple accounts and they're using different emails, their different work emails for those different organizations. If you don't have another work email to use for that additional district or agency or whatever it might be, you can use a feature that is available to anyone with an email address to create an alias of your existing email. So there's an example at the bottom of this slide of my email, which is eanderson@fimcvi.org. And then to make it so that I could use it, let's say if I was serving Alachua, I would just add right after the first part of the email, before that @ symbol, I would add plus, and then whatever word, letters I want to put there. It probably makes the most sense to use maybe like part of the name of the school or the agency, or if you have an abbreviation, it just needs to be letters, okay? So eAnderson plus alachua@fimcvi.org allows me to use a different email for setting up accounts. But any emails that I get generated from that, like so if I set that account up and I need to reset my password, the password reset link is still going to come to my eAnderson@fimcvi.org account into that mailbox, okay? So it's just like a fake email that lets you set up accounts, but the emails themselves are still coming to your actual account that you have, okay? Approving new users. So I mentioned that there are users like TBIs, paraprofessionals, service providers, and agencies, things like that, who have to be approved by their administrator. Okay. We are not using, if you're familiar with the staff authorization approval or removal form that we had previously, that's gone away. So Administrators, one thing we want people to be aware of too, administrators may appoint a delegate to approve requests within their organization. Those individuals do have to have a role of district personnel or school personnel, but either way, one of those two people, when someone new in their organization registers in the portal, so because you're selecting that, who you work for, then the administrator or delegate, they're going to get the email the following morning notifying them that a request has been submitted for access, and then they have to log into the portal and approve that person. Okay, so for each person, they're going in there. So if you don't know who that person is in your district that is approved to approve people, and you've been sitting and waiting, I know Tiffany has been working with people to get them set up in our new portal, but if you're in a situation where you don't know who that is, we can let you know, and then you can reach out to them and say, hey, I've registered for this system. I need access so I can request free materials for my students. Um, and as I said before, overall, this is just ensuring that that student identifiable information is secure, because in this new system, you can see when you sign in and you have one of those approved roles, you can see all the students within your organization. And then once orders are processed for any of these things, you can see all of the orders for all of the students in the organization too. All right, so let's look at APH products first. And you're going to notice as I go through that a lot of these things are very similar. So it's like a different product, but the overall process is very similar, and there might be differences based on the products themselves. So in the portal for APH, the best thing to do is to start with the APH shop site, right? Because that's where the products are. That's where you can, if you don't know what you want, you're going to go on there and you can look and see what they have, see descriptions and things like that. And that's also where you can see the availability status of a product, because APH does have, it seems more so now than in the past, issues with suppliers. So they will have products that they have to discontinue, or they go on back order, or they're just out of stock and they're waiting for more of that product to come in. And there are different statuses where if that is the status on the APH shop site and we go to try to submit the order and we see that, we're not going to submit the order. So it's a good idea to double check and make sure that the item is in stock and available. If it's out of stock, we'll still submit the order, but it's probably, I'm sorry, not out of stock. If it's on back order, then we will still submit it. And I'll show you the statuses in a little bit that we use. So when you're searching for APH products in the portal, you have the option of searching by keyword, partial name, or the exact catalog number that you find on the APH shop site. So it should match exactly if that's what you're using with the dashes where they're located. It's best to use as little information as you can here in your search to make sure that it's not missing things because it's not an exact match. You may know that we have APH products that we don't currently allow you to order from APH, but you're allowed to borrow them out of our loan library. So this system will be the same. It'll just be more obvious what's available where, because you can see our actual inventory. So the APH products that we don't allow you to order from APH that are restricted or in our loan library are not going to show in the APH product list. You're going to go over to the loan library side to request those things. However, if you are still like, I think there's something missing here, and that could very well be, it might be a brand new product, or it might be a product that was out of stock that we removed and now it's back in stock and we haven't caught that yet. So contact Colleen if you think an item should be added or is missing. All right, so then when you're in the portal, you're going to see when you're looking at the list of products, there's going to be add to queue links. And if you've ordered textbooks, this is very similar. It's the same concept. Just a reminder, where you see the add to queue link, that when you're clicking on it, you are adding one quantity to your cart. So if you need more than one of an item, you're going to select that add to queue link for the same number of quantity that you need. So if you need 3 read and write stands, you're going to select the add to queue link 3 times next to that product name. Each item that ends up in your cart or your queue must be assigned a shipping location and a student, because these are APH products. Students have to be registered with us and parent consent has to be on file for that student. So when you're assigning the student, you're only going to see students, and you're going to be able to see all the students in your entire district or organization. You only see the students that have parent consent on file, and you have indicated that under student management. You are not going to, and this is true across all of these things, you are not going to receive confirmation emails automatically from the system of your submitted or processed orders. Colleen will email you if she needs to about an APH order, but you're going to want to use the queue and the loan history pages to view the statuses of your orders. You can cancel orders that are in the queue, and when they're pending, that means you have not submitted the order to us yet at FIMC. If it's under processing, that means that the order is in review and we haven't looked at it yet. So it's sitting there and it's waiting for us to go and look at it and do what we need to do. And you'll know too, you'll see the cancel button when it's available. Then the loan history view. So each section in the portal has a history view, and this is where you can see the process orders for all students in your entire district or organization, regardless of which person in that district or organization placed that order. Okay, so everyone can see all of the history. The loan history view page across all of these functions, you can always do some filtering and sorting by item, student location, and or status. And just a reminder, just as in the past, it is still true now that with this new system, orders are still going to take 4 to 6 weeks to arrive after they are submitted to APH because they're using free matter for the blind shipping. The statuses that we have for APH orders, when you're looking at your loan history, you're going to see orders submitted. So we sent it to APH, and then you are going to receive, if it's a physical item, you're going to receive a shipment directly from APH. If it's a product link or a license, software, things like that, you are going to receive an email from Colleen here at FIMC with the information for that. If the status says back order, that means that we submitted the order to APH, but we don't know how long it's going to take for you to get that order. It could take a very long time. And then what has happened is that an item goes from back order to discontinued because APH finds out they're not getting any more. They're never gonna be able to fulfill that. And if that happens, they let us know, and then Colleen will let you know that that's the case. Out of stock, so discontinued, again, we're not submitting that because APH doesn't plan to provide that product. Out of stock, again, we're not submitting those to APH, but that's something where you can go and keep an eye on that, check back on the APH site later to see if it comes back, and then you can submit the order to us. And canceled, the order was not submitted to APH for any, whatever that reason might be. In those cases, Colleen will be communicating with you about the details of that as well. So that's APH. Now loan library. In the portal, just like with APH, you have the ability to search for things. So here you're going to be using product name, title, author. We have keywords built in on the back end to kind of help if you're searching for maybe Braille or assessment or technology, magnifiers. You might get a whole lot of results that you're not interested in, but you have different ways that you can search. There is a separate catalog number field, which is specific to APH products. So you only want to use that if you are looking for an APH product that is in the loan library, but your best bet is still to just go ahead and search by the name or keyword that you might have in mind. If you're looking for advice on product selection, continue to contact Andrea for assistance with that. We are still using the signed hold harmless for technology loans, so Colleen will be contacting you separately for those types of requests. So the loan library, just like APH, has the add to queue link, which once again, you click it once for each time you need an item. Keep in mind that teachers, staff can only borrow up to 2 magnification or braille display devices to trial with a student at a time, just to kind of help make sure everyone has the opportunity to borrow materials from the loan library. The loan library does also have a waitlist link. So if it's not showing the add to queue link, it's going to show waitlist. And that means that we're going to wait for somebody to send it back to us before we send it to you. In the loan library, each item just needs to be assigned a shipping location. Again, you're not going to receive confirmation emails. You're going to go to the queue in the loan history to see your orders. You can still cancel the order if it's in the queue, whether it's pending or processing. Loan Library also has the loan history view page. And again, you see all of the process orders for all the students across your entire district or organization. You're able to do different filtering and sorting by item, location, and or status. The statuses that we have in the loan library are need info. So here, Colleen, for whatever reason, she has information that she needs from you. So if she changes it to that status, then you should have or will receive soon an email from Colleen requesting whatever information she needs. Waitlist, that means that we're waiting for the item to be sent back to us and then we'll send it out to you. Canceled, Colleen will let you know if that's the case. Processing, in that case, we have approved the order and everything's ready to go, but it hasn't been shipped yet. It's being prepared for shipping. If it says checked out, the item has been shipped to you. Extension, that means that the loan due date was extended based on your request. Or Colleen might use her judgment to do that as well. But if you would like to request an extension, contact Colleen. She may not always be able to do that or grant that request if we have a wait list for an item. Return, that means that we have received the item back from you. And then loss, damage, those are statuses where you might have realized at some point that the device needs to be repaired or you can't find the item. You're going to let Colleen know, and then she'll update the status in the system. All right, and last but not least, we have Braillers. And so Braillers, this is a little bit different from the other two because you have your option of requesting a Brailler and then requesting a repair of a Brailler, right? So you have more things that you might be doing here. When you are submitting a repair request, during that same time, you can request a replacement Brailler. And here we're doing the same process that we were doing previously with the form, where you still have information, a document that needs to be printed out and placed in the box with the broken Brailler. Okay, that's information that tells you where to send it, which you're sending broken Braillers directly to APH for repair via Free Matter for the Blind. And remembering that repaired Braillers are not going to be sent back to you, they come back to us at FIMC. At least that's what APH should be doing. And a reminder, the Page Connect. So if you're not familiar with the Page Connect, that's a newer product from APH where you remove the base of a Perkins brailler and you attach this to the bottom. And then there's, I don't know, it's fancy technology where then it connects to a computer or a smartphone and it's able to tell a person what the student is brailing on the Perkins brailler. So it's pretty cool, but if you have a brailler that has the Page Connect attached to the bottom and the brailler is broken, you're going to want to remove the Page Connect and put the original brailler base back on the brailler before you send it to APH for repair. APH has said that if a Page Connect is on a brailler that's sent to them for repair, they'll remove it and then put it back on before sending it back. But we don't want them to get lost. And then we also don't want to get a brailler back for repair and then have a Page Connect and now we've got to do a whole nother process of like, did you get another Page Connect? Do we need to send this one back to you? So we just want to keep it simple and hold on to those Page Connects at your site. Braillers also have the add to queue link as well as a wait list, possibly if we have had that in the past where we ran out of Brailler inventory because there was a shortage of Braillers, but we haven't had that issue for a while. But if there is a wait list, we're most likely going to go buy more Braillers. So once we get those in, then we're going to send you the ones that we have received. So we have the two kinds, the light touch, which is really the only one we buy because that's all APH has anymore. Those are the blue ones, and the serial number starts with LT. Classic ones, they're like gray or green, usually older looking, but not necessarily. So for, whatever we're more likely to have like touch braillers at this point. The classic ones are going to kind of cycle out, but you just pick whichever one you want to pick for your add to queue. And then you go to your queue to check out, you assign the shipping location and the student. And just like APH products, because braillers are an APH product, you're only going to see students in the drop down that are that have parent consent. Okay. You can still cancel the order as long as it's in the queue. That's where the pending or processing orders are located. We also have the wait list processing status in the queue here, where you're waiting on us to get more braillers to send to you. And once again, you will not get confirmation emails of submitted or processed orders. You're going to use the queue and the history page to view statuses. For repairing braillers, it's all on the same page when you're in the portal, which I'll be showing you in just a few minutes here. You're going to identify which type of brailler needs to be repaired. So I said the light touches are normally blue and have the LT serial number, but if you're not sure, just select classic. Then you're going to select repairs link, which will be right next to the type of brailler that you're looking at. And then a new window is going to pop up. And on this page, you're going to enter the serial number of the brailler, or if you're not sure, you can't read it, you can't find it, just use a checkbox indicating that. So you're going to describe the problem that the brailler is having. And then below that, you're going to say what type of brailler you want, or maybe you don't need one. So you can say none needed, whatever is available first, or if you have a preference for light touch versus classic. You're going to, if you select, this isn't on here, but if you select that you do need a replacement, you're going to have to assign a shipping location. And then your last thing will be to assign the student that this is for. And then once you submit that, another window is going to come up, and this is going to have the same information that you used to get when you submitted a brailler repair request with the form that we had. So it's right there for you to print, or you can copy it and paste it somewhere else to print later if you can't do that at that moment. Just make sure you print that and put it in the box with the brailler before you send it to APH. And so once again, Braillers has a separate history page as well, where you get to see all of the process orders for everyone in your district. You have filters and sorting options there. The statuses are, I think, all pretty self-explanatory, but ready for checkout. We haven't processed. Wait list, you're waiting for us to get more. Canceled. Checked out and shipped are more or less mean the same thing, and we sent the item to you. Returned, we received the brailler back, which we don't expect that. Just as a reminder, we don't expect you to send braillers back to us, but it does happen every now and then. Repair reported, so that means you submitted a repair request, and this is also a place where you'll see a page icon where you can print that information as well that I just mentioned that you're supposed to be printed out. And then repair replace, so that's you requested a replacement brailler to be sent for a repaired brailler. All right, so this is what the dashboard looks like. So with that, I'm going to switch my share here. Make sure I pick the right screen. Okay. All right. Are you seeing the right thing, Tiffany?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the portal. This is not the live site yet, so don't take note of any web addresses or things like that. I'm just showing you what everything looks like on the testing side of things. But so I'm going to sign in. I know they're still working on fixes on the back end, so hopefully everything works as it should. Okay, it's being a little slow. All right, so when you sign in, the first thing it does is
Liz, actually, I'm not seeing your portal.
no. Oh, are you still seeing the? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. I think this is the one. Is this? Are you seeing
Now
Logan?
now I see Logan.
Now you see it. Okay.
Sorry, I saw the tiles. I thought I was seeing the right stuff. Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right, so when you sign in, it brings you to the dashboard is the first thing. And I'll just show you right now, here at the top right is the help, which is where the portal user guide is located. We're gonna have a link to it at the end of the slide deck as well, but I'll just click on that to show you just about everything that I have shared today, that I shared at that October 1st webinar, and about annual census is in here. So this is a good thing to remember that is available, okay? But so you're going to scroll down, and we're not going to talk about textbooks because that was covered back in October. But for APH, you come here and you'll see there's the keyword search and the catalog number field. So before we do anything here, let's go over to the APH website. And you can find, there's a lot here. So just to see their catalog and their products that they have available, if you go to shop and then you have browse the shop, and this shows you everything that APH has in their inventory. And when you click on different things, you'll see you have prices, catalog numbers. Some things very evidently show their availability right here. We have 27 in stock of this product. This one is just not showing anything because if I click on this, there's multiple products here that have different quantities available. So that's all there. So you can look through and find all of the information. There are things, so for example, I know that the Jerry John in Braille, that is something that was released, I believe, about a year ago, is out of stock. So this may be something that I would want to get, but right now, unfortunately, it's out of stock. So we wouldn't put in an order for that if we received it from you. But so, so this is where you can find all of those things and come back and check as needed. But back over here on the catalog page, you'll see that we have just, this is very simple. We just have the catalog number, the title of the product, and the cost. So again, if you're not sure what all a product includes, it's a good idea to go to the APH site so you can read the description and know what you're getting. But so let's just say that I'm looking for a read-write stand and I'm going to add to the queue, and maybe I need 2 of these for 2 different students. So I'm going to click on add to queue again. And that doesn't mean that I'm not done, right? If all I do is select the add to queue link, it hasn't gone anywhere to FIMC yet. It's sitting up here in the queue at the top of the page. So here I see them, and I have the option of selecting both of these at once and assigning a location and a student, or if that's the case, or if they're going to 2 different students' locations, I just select one at a time. You see, I still have the option to cancel these requests. But so for the location, let's say I do want to add a location because I'll remind you now, I talked about this in the previous webinar. This location list is all of the locations in our system across the entire state. Right now, I know that there are no duplicate locations in here, but because names can be very similar, there might be schools, a new school that does match something that's in here. If you're going to add a location, I very much ask that at the end of the location, you do a dash and you do the name of the district or county that that location is in. And that will kind of help everyone make sure that they're picking the correct location over time. So that would go in the location short description field, and then you add the rest of the information. But so you can see too, I'm going to select that again, that there are some locations in here that have the district at the end. So you select that, you select your student, and I'm only seeing students that have parent consent. I submit it, and then that request comes down here to the bottom of my process section. So these are all still in review. They're waiting for FIMC staff to go through and process. But at this point, I can still cancel if I need to. So that's the queue. And then over here in loan history, this is where you can see all of the orders that have been processed. I always suggest anytime you're on any of these pages to always do clear and then search, and that will show you everything across the entire organization. Up at the top, you could search by the catalog number, the title. You could, if you want to just see specific locations or orders for students, different statuses, you have all of those as an option, but I would only use one of these at a time, or just make sure you always select clear before you start applying filters. And then you also have down at the bottom, you can use the sorters if you want things to, oh, okay, I found something that they must still be working on, but they have these different buttons that allow things to be sorted alphabetically or by date. Okay. And so you'll see over here, we do have a lot of different, yeah, this is the test site, but a lot of different statuses as well. You have the option of exporting whatever you have in the view down here. So this will give you a spreadsheet with more information than what you see on the screen. It's going to have things like the date that the order was submitted and just more details. So if you want to export that so you can see a record of what has happened in your district for the past year, or whenever you go to submit that, that is available for you as well. All right, so it's pretty simple. There's not a lot happening here. You just have your tile where you're going in and you're requesting items and you're looking at your queue to check out and your loan history. There's also a what's new button. So when something in Town, trying to remember, I know they just came out with a new product, Room with a View, I think is what it's called. If we have new APH products that are being added to the site, and this is also true under Loan Library, we'll try to get it to be added to this section of the site so then you can see what's new. And then when you're like, oh, well, that looks interesting, and you can go on the APH site and check it out. And if you want to order it, you'll go back to this page here. So back on the dashboard, and that button in the top right is a good way of getting back to where you were before. So next we'll look at the loan library. So at the top of this page, you have the information about the loan terms that we have. We have the video magnification and braille display comparison charts that were on our website before, and some other links to resource pages that we have on our website if you're trying to get ideas of what products to look for. And this page just has, yeah, where you can search here and then the APH catalog number if you know of that. But again, my suggestion is to stick with this field. And when the screen kind of does that blinking, that means that it's doing its searching and sorting. So if I just type in assessment, there are 90 results in here. So there's a whole lot of things in here where assessment is in the name, it's in the description, it's in the keywords that are on the back end. So there's a lot things that you might be finding in here, and you have your loan terms available as well. And it tells you how you're going to get this. So like this right here is an EPUB. That will give you an idea. So then you'll see over here, we have add to queue for some products. So I could add this one to my queue. Or let's say I just want to see everything in the whole catalog. Then I just empty out my filters, and now it's showing me 516 items. So there are a lot of things here. You'll see this item right here, it says unavailable, add to wait list. So if I really wanted to get this, I could add it to my wait list. And so again, those things haven't gone anywhere yet. I have to go to my queue and assign where I want these things. And oh, it looks like I forgot about something that was on the wait list before. So I have a previous request that was submitted. But so it's just the same thing as with APH. You select your item, however many you need to, and the loan library, you don't have to assign students. All you're doing is assigning location. Okay, so you pick that and you submit it. And this time it gave me a little warning. The following items are already being processed. So it's just saying you've already asked for this item. Are you sure you want to get another one? So that's just kind of a helpful reminder in case you're like, oh, I forgot that I already submitted that, or no, I do want another one. So you can say okay to that. And now it's down here and waitlist processing at the bottom of the page. I can still cancel it, and I see more products that are waiting for processing from FIMC. Okay. And I decided I don't need this one anymore, and it just gives me a little reminder this is going to permanently remove it, and yeah, that's perfectly fine. Now if I go back over here, there's also the what's new for the loan library as well. You can see as we add new products, you can see what those are. And then the history, which again is everything across your entire district or organization. Just be sure to select clear and then search, and then it'll load all of those. You can do some searching here. I don't think there's anything that's overdue right now, but if you wanted to see things that we have been expecting to have sent back to us, you could use that. or if you want to just see the things that are checked out, and make sure you clear and then change that status, and you'll see that there's an item that is checked out. Or shipping location, just different things that you can use. But again, I suggest just using one filter at a time. You also have those sorters down here if you need to sort things. I think these sorters are actually working. There we go. And we have all of our statuses that I pointed out in the slide. So we see that extension where that was extended, ready for processing, is just waiting for FIMC to check it out. And so again, you have your export loans link. So this will export whatever you have on the table below, whatever is showing on the screen. And in that list, if it says the 29, that's how many will be in the list here. Again, with more information than what you see on the screen. So that can be helpful to you. Okay. And last but not least, so again, back to the dashboard to see everything. We're going to go to Braillers. And for Braillers, you'll notice we just have the two things, right? Because we only have the light touch and we have the classic. If you are looking for a smart brailler, a unimanual brailler, an electric brailler, you're going to find those in the loan library, okay? So this is just for the Perkins light touch or classic braillers. And so you'll see we have, as it's set up right now, this is not accurate. We have 8 Perkins light touch braillers available, so I'm going to add one to the queue. And let's say I just really want a classic, so I'm going to add that to the wait list. And so those are back up here in the queue, right? The same process for all of these things. We have the reminders up here about the repairs, way to make sure everyone sees that information about the page connect, making sure you remove that. And so we see here in the queue, I have those 2 orders that are in pending and I can cancel them. If I change my mind, I don't want this classic brailler anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it. I have to, for braillers, I have to assign the shipping location and the student. And again, I'm only going to see students with parent consent. And now all those are down here. So I have a few that are waiting for FIMC to process my request. Okay, so that's if I'm requesting a brailler. Then now we have repairs. Okay, so for repair, I click on, and so I said if you aren't sure what type of brailler it is, just go ahead and select classic. And you're going to put in your serial number. So like I said, if it's light touch, it normally starts with LT, or it could be just whatever you see on the brailler. If you can't find a serial number or you can't make it out, you have the option of checking the box here. Okay. And then you say whatever the problem is, carriage return is broken. Do you need a replacement? It defaults to that you don't need a replacement. But if you do, you can select whatever is available first, classic or light touch if you do have a preference, but I'm going to leave it as whatever is available. And then once I did that, it opened up the shipping location. So I have to say, well, where do I want that replacement brailler sent? I have the option here of adding a location if needed. And then of course I have to assign a student for all of this, okay? So who is this for? So I do that and I submit this, and here is where the screen is for the information that needs to be printed and put in the box with the brailler. You see there's a printer icon here. If I click on that, it opens my print feature. So I can just print that out. Or like I mentioned, maybe you don't have access to a printer right now. You can just copy everything to the clipboard and paste it in a Word document. But so once you're done with that, you're going to close this window. And if you need to do another repair, you're going to go back to the repair link and you're going to do the process again. You can only request one repair at a time. And so, of course, again, brailler history, clear search to see all of the requests for the entire district or organization that you're in. You can search for different, if you have a serial number that you're looking for, you have shipping locations or statuses that you can sort by. Again, you have your sorters at the top where you can sort the information alphabetically or by date. And then we have over here our statuses, okay? So where you see repair reported, these are the ones where when you see the page icon to the right, if I click on this brings back up that same page that we just saw, Okay, so from here again, I can print, I can copy, do what I need to, but somehow, some way, I need to get this printed out on a physical piece of paper and put in a box with the brailler so I can send it to APH.
I'll just add to that, Liz. Don't forget that this is where you can pull that address. Like I used to always, I'd print the page and put it in the box, and I'd be like, oh, I need the address. I got to put it
Mm-hmm.
on the box too, or so just remember to pull the address from that paper too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, it's right there. And one other thing I wanted to point out here too. So for this repair, let's see, where's the one that I just submitted? So I just did this one here. Under the serial number, you might notice it says unknown, and there's this random string of numbers and letters. So because I checked that I couldn't identify the serial number, the system generated this. So this isn't anything that I put in. It happened automatically, so you don't need to worry about that when you see it. It's just there for us to know, okay, there wasn't a serial number associated. Um, so that one is there. Let's see. So then this one here is going to be the request. So ready for checkout. This is for the one that I just said I need a replacement, right? Like, so it's got the replacement sitting right there waiting for me to process as well. So that's helpful. But so you can see all of this, and let's see, I think that was everything. Yeah, we have our different statuses. Okay. So that's the brailers. I did want to show you, so I've been doing all of this as a teacher in a district. If I go in as an ESE director, I'm not going to see the things that the teacher had in their queue, but I am going to see all of the same things in the history. Okay. So that's where we're hoping this is helpful, that everyone can see if a teacher leaves or a student is moved to a different teacher, that will have access to that information. Okay.
I kind of think about, the way that I simplified it when Liz taught me, because she's an amazing teacher with this portal. I sort of thought about the queue as my own personal Amazon shopping cart. So if I'm adding things to my queue cart, I had to make sure that I checked out, right? Because even
Mm-hmm.
if I put things in my queue, I'm not finished yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if it's waitlisted, I still have to like finish by assigning it to a location and a student, or it's not even really on the wait list yet. Like I'm not done yet. You have to always check out. So you have to put things in your queue or your cart, then you have to check out like any good Amazon shopper would do, right? And then, and so that's your own personal business that you're doing. And then the history is all of the students for your whole organization, that like you can see if, say, the student changed, swapped teachers, so you can see, oh, was that already ordered for someone? Hey, do we have a tactile town already like floating around somewhere that I could borrow? Then you can kind of look and see if maybe there's something like that around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
like the whole district. So that your
Mm-hmm.
queue is your own personal stuff. The history is everyone's stuff.
Yeah. The one thing to remember that though, with that though, is that in the queue it's also the things that haven't been processed yet. So you
Right.
might have submitted it, and when you hadn't submitted it, it's under pending, and then it moves down to processing when you have submitted it. But as long as still in processing, it's not going to show up to everyone else here in history.
History.
It's once it's processed, now it gets to be seen by
Everyone's
everyone.
right.
Okay. But
Good point.
ideally, things won't take very long to be processed, so you'll know quickly what's happening across your district or organization.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, always remember to check out and submit the request to us though, because otherwise it'll just sit there and we won't even know that it's waiting.
Right.
The
We won't
student needs
have it to
something.
process.
Mm-hmm.
But Liz,
Yeah.
there was a question regarding locations. And so if someone is wanting to have an item delivered to their home for whatever reason, not to a school, what would the process be for that?
So you can add, yeah, we do understand that there are times where that needs to happen. Maybe you just don't have a reliable, you know, work
Receiver.
site receiver, yes, to receive those things. So you can add yourself as a location. What I would do, and because I don't know if you have multiple, let me think about this. Well, yeah, I would make it so that it's your name, and then again, put that the district that you're located in after your name, just to kind of help us so we know, like, okay, where is this person even at? Because when you're looking at that list of shipping locations, it doesn't give you any detail, right? So, so like
You kind of
here,
give it a, you give the location a name, is what you're saying. So,
exactly, yes, yeah. So you could, yeah, just repeat it. I should actually go through and do something here. So if I go to the queue, I want to add a location. Yeah. Yeah, you might, yeah, just have your name and put the district after it and then just go ahead and yeah, then your shipping information.
so I'd put like Tiffany Conrad, Hillsboro,
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Conrad Home, Hillsboro.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint.
And then it will stay there, right, in the list, Liz. So they don't have to keep adding the location. So then the
Yes.
next time they go to order and ship, it will be there for them to select in the long list, right?
Yes. Yeah. Once you add a location too, it does, I've noticed that the location you add tends to stay at the top of the list. So it should be up there at the top, or you can just start typing and it should generate, should like go to the locations that match what you're typing.
Thank you.
Mhm. Fine. All right. And we wanted to make sure that you all have information about who to contact, because there's a lot of things that are in here, and we have kind of divvied up all of the things amongst our staff. If you are having an issue with the portal where it just seems like something is broken and not working, the first thing I would do is log out and sign back in, because the system does time out after a period of inactivity. It's not always obvious that it's doing that, so I would do that first. But if you're still having issues, you can email the information address. If you have questions about textbook orders, you can contact Denise. Student and user management, Tiffany. APH requests and products, Colleen. For loan library, you can contact Colleen and Andrea. For Braillers and Brailler repair requests, contact Julie. And then, of course, I showed that earlier, the user guide that we have with all of the step-by-step instructions in there, including the timeline for annual census, which will be consistent from year to year. So that is everything. What questions do we have, if any? Let's see. Um,
I don't see any other questions yet.
okay.
They're being shy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all. And yeah, so just a reminder, there was, if you're like, I need to know more about how to use the portal for students, for textbooks, we do have the recording on our past events page that was done back in October. If you have questions about annual census coming up in January, we covered using the system for that in the FIMC-VI info and updates webinar that Tiffany posted, part 2, that was in November. So you can go back and check those things, even though I know the year looks wrong in that info and updates link. I'm sure that's the correct
Yeah, it's
one.
just the link, but
Yeah, the link
pay no
hasn't been,
mind to the name of
yeah,
the
pay no mind to that.
link.
But all right. Well, we can still stay on here, but I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.
Yes,
If I
happy
can.
holidays to all of you as you're getting ready to get into those breaks.